Okay, so Matthew, I have so many questions about this season. Honestly, this is one of my favorite shows. So I
Great.
have just a thousand thoughts. So I think Laris is always sort of lurking in the shadows of in court and in this show, pulling at little threads. How likely do you think it is that he could switch sides if the opportunity ever arose for him?
Oh, I don't know. I think in my head, he's staunchly Team Green at the moment because I think he was one of the OG members. I think he was sort of Team Green before there was even a team. That's the team that I think he thinks the realm would accept. So I don't know. I think at the moment he's sticking to his guns at the moment.
And what is his position at court at this time? Because when we see him in the beginning of this season, it's not very clear where his role is, but he's sort of just kind of manipulating every person that he comes across.
Yeah, general manipulator. Yeah, he's got a prominent place because of his relationship with Alicent. He's quite a familiar face in court. He's familiar to the king. He's a sort of peripheral character to them, but he is I suppose, a friendly face. He's the Lord Confessor, so he spends a lot of time doing atrocious things in the dark. But don't we all?
Well, somebody has to do that job, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
So I'm curious because in this show, there's so many characters who kind of like toe the line in between morality. They're a little bit morally gray, but I would say Laris is probably a little further past maybe dark gray.
Why? Why do you possibly think that?
I don't know. Maybe well, my question is actually, do you think there's anything redeemable about this character? Do you think there's any opportunities where he could have had a turn where, he wouldn't have walked down this path?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's redeemable qualities in everyone, and definitely, I think if he had, if a million different things had changed, he'd be a very different person. But I don't think he's a monster. I think he's very human. I think he's full of feeling. I think he thinks what he's doing. He has his own sort of code. So no, I don't think. I think he's very redeemable.
Well, speaking on one of his more irredeemable acts, last season, in season one, we saw one of the big things that he did is he directly contributed to the death of his father and his brother.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious, are we going to see him experience any consequences to those actions?
I think it's always there for him, that stuff. I think his family was a huge thing for him. I think Harrenhal has a lot of baggage for him, and I think his past and his relationship with his family has a lot of baggage for him that he hasn't even started to unpick yet.
Do you think there are any regrets there for his actions, or do you think he's decided?
I think he's sort of too busy at the minute. I think he sort of is. He acted, and he's sticking with it.
And obviously, with this season, we're going to see Daemon at Harrenhal, which is the seat of his family. What are Larys's feelings about that? And of course, we see him. I think we see Daemon with Ser Strong, Simon Strong.
Yeah, my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you give us some insight into Larys's feelings about that and about, potentially losing Harrenhal to the Blacks?
I don't think Laris has particularly warm, fluffy feelings about Harrenhal. I don't think he was having many postcard moments there. So I don't think he. I think he knows the power that it has. I think he knows that there's a dark magic that lives there that plays tricks on people. So I think he kind of knows what Daemon's in for, I think.
As one of the actors who was in all of season one and you kind of experienced the younger cast and the older cast, what do you think was the biggest difference or transition period from from season one and that sort of fluidity into season two, where we're very much more stable in where we are in the timeline?
Well, they had so much ground to cover in season one, and I thought they did it brilliantly. But inevitably, there's going to be, in 10-year time gaps, there's going to be little things that don't get as much sort of attention or as much time And so it's really nice to spend a bit more time with Laris and actually see him playing the game in real time.
What do you think Larys's ideal version of the conclusion of the war is? Do you think it's seeing Aegon on the throne? I don't think he's somebody who sees himself on the throne, but what do you think is his sort of his end goal, so to speak?
At the moment, I think it's not about, I don't think he cares who the noose is as long as he's the rope. But that's just sort of at the beginning, and the board is constantly changing, so he's keeping an eye on it.
That's interesting. The noose and the rope analogy is kind of worrying to me, but so just a final question I have. If you could play, you as Matthew could play another character on the other side of the team, do you have one that you would pick?
Oh, on the other side?
Yes, not on Team Green.
I mean, Jace looks like he comes from like good stock, but so maybe yeah, I'll say that.
Okay, yeah, some nepotism there.
Yeah. I don't know what you're implying, but
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. I can't wait for everybody to see the season.
thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you.